When a woman loses a good man, denial masks her pain until silence exposes the truth. Memories haunt her, comparisons deepen regret, and life quietly teaches what pride refused to see. She doesn't just lose love, she loses the version of herself that only his presence once made possible. When a woman loses a good man, her first instinct is rarely to accept it. The mind immediately builds walls of defense around the heart, convincing her that she's unaffected. She tells herself she's fine, that he wasn't the one, that she deserves better, or that he'll eventually realize her worth and come back. This is not confidence. It's denial wrapped in pride. It's her ego stepping in to protect her from the ache that comes when she confronts the truth. She let go of something real. In the beginning, she might even feel liberated. She convinces herself that the relationship had become routine or that she was losing her freedom. She may post pictures of herself smiling, enjoying life, and appearing stronger than ever. But behind that temporary sense of empowerment is an emptiness quietly forming, a silence that no distraction can fill. It's the space once occupied by the calm reassurance of a man who truly cared. The same presence she once overlooked now becomes the very thing her soul starts missing when the noise fades. Denial isn't just emotional ignorance, it's emotional survival. It allows her to keep functioning when the pain is too heavy to acknowledge. But over time, that denial starts to crumble. The strength she performs for the world begins to feel exhausting. The laughter feels forced, and the moments of solitude become unbearable. That's when she starts realizing that her ego, not her heart, was driving her decisions. She begins to sense that the man she lost wasn't just another chapter in her life, but a turning point she didn't appreciate while living it. During this phase, her mind replays every disagreement, every misunderstanding, every moment where she chose silence instead of vulnerability, pride instead of softness. She starts to see how her defenses, once meant to protect her from pain, actually pushed away the very person who offered peace. The good man she lost wasn't perfect. He had flaws, made mistakes, and had limits, but he was consistent. He offered something few people do in this world: emotional safety. And because she mistook that calmness for weakness or boredom, she underestimated his value. As reality slowly replaces denial, she starts to feel the depth of what she lost. The ego that once told her she'd be fine now turns against her, whispering regret. She begins to understand that real strength wasn't walking away. It was being able to love deeply, communicate honestly, and nurture the bond she once had. It's at this point that she realizes how rare a genuinely good man is. One who chooses loyalty in a world that glorifies options, who listens when others dismiss, who leads with gentleness instead of control. But by the time the truth settles, it's too late to go back. Denial protected her for a moment, but it cost her a future she didn't yet understand. She learns that the hardest part of losing a good man isn't the absence of his presence. It's the awareness that she built the walls that kept him out. When the noise of distraction fades and the ego grows quiet, the realization begins to surface. It doesn't come suddenly. It creeps in slowly, often in the quietest moments. She might wake up one morning and instinctively reach for her phone, expecting a message that no longer comes. She might walk past a familiar cafe or hear a song that once made her smile, only to feel a weight in her chest. This is when the truth starts whispering. He's really gone, and she's the one who let him slip away. At first, she fights the feeling. She tries to convince herself it's just nostalgia, that she's only missing the comfort of companionship. But deep down, she knows it's more than that. She's missing him, the man who made her feel safe, seen, and accepted. The silence that follows his absence is not just physical, It's emotional. It's the space once filled by his steady presence, his understanding eyes, and his quiet support. It's the calm energy she didn't realize anchored her until it was no longer there. This phase of realization hits harder than the breakup itself because the initial separation was clouded by pride, anger, or justification. But now there's no argument left to make. There's only truth. She begins to see the difference between a man who was merely interested in her and a man who genuinely invested in her growth. The way he listened, remembered her smallest details, cared about her moods, and stayed when things weren't convenient, these things start replaying in her mind, each memory cutting a little deeper than the last. She starts noticing how her energy feels different without him. The world doesn't feel as steady. The laughter doesn't sound as real. Even when surrounded by people, there's a strange emptiness that lingers inside her. She might meet new men, but they all feel temporary. Their words sound rehearsed, their gestures lack depth, and their intentions seem shallow compared to what she once had. She realizes that what she lost wasn't just a relationship, it was an emotional foundation that can't be easily rebuilt. During this phase, her own behavior starts to haunt her. She remembers the times she dismissed his efforts, the moments she let her temper speak louder than her love, and the times she chose distance over communication. She realizes that the good man she lost didn't walk away because he stopped caring. He walked away because he finally accepted that she wasn't ready to receive the kind of love he offered. That realization burns quietly, not with anger, but with regret. What hurts most is knowing that he never tried to hurt her. His love was patient, honest, and real, but now that it's gone, she sees how rare that kind of love truly is. The realization isn't just about losing him, it's about confronting the truth of who she was when she had him. And in that moment, she finally understands that the greatest pain doesn't come from being left behind, but from realizing she was the reason he's no longer there. As time passes, her mind starts to betray her. The same memories she once pushed away begin to play like a film she can't pause. Flashbacks come uninvited, sometimes in the middle of the night, sometimes during the simplest moments of her day. It could be the way he used to laugh, the tone of his voice when he said her name, or the warmth in his eyes when she was speaking. These memories aren't random. They're the fragments of something real, something genuine that her heart still refuses to fully release. She remembers how he would notice the little things, how he'd know when she was upset even before she said a word, how he listened not just to respond but to understand. He cared in quiet ways that never demanded attention, checking if she'd eaten, walking her to her car, holding her hand not for display but for connection. Back then, these moments seemed ordinary. Now they feel sacred. The same gestures she once overlooked have turned into echoes that remind her of what genuine love actually looks like. The flashbacks don't always come with peace. Sometimes they hurt. They bring tears she didn't think she still had, because each memory is a reminder of how he gave his best while she gave her uncertainty. She starts to see the contrast between how easily he forgave and how quickly she judged, how patiently he waited and how impulsively she reacted. The more she remembers, the more the guilt deepens. It's not just that she misses him, it's that she finally understands him. These flashbacks carry emotional weight because they reveal something she couldn't see while she was in the moment, his consistency. He didn't love her in words. He loved her in presence, in action, in patience. When life got difficult, he didn't withdraw. He stayed. And now, in his absence, she realizes that his loyalty was never conditional. He didn't need perfection, he just wanted effort. And when he stopped receiving it, he quietly stepped back, not out of revenge, but out of respect for himself. There's an ache that comes with remembering a man who loved purely. It's not the kind of pain that fades overnight. It lingers in the heart because it's tied to authenticity. Every moment of laughter, every late night talk, every time he made her feel seen, all of it replays with new meaning. What once felt normal now feels irreplaceable. And that's the cruel part of losing something real. You only understand its depth when it becomes a memory. The flashbacks become both a comfort and a punishment. They remind her that she once had something beautiful, but also that she didn't cherish it enough. It's in those quiet memories that she begins to realize the depth of his love and the shallowness of her appreciation. And though she tries to move on, those moments follow her, not to haunt her, but to teach her what real love truly looks like once it's gone. When the realization settles and the memories stop feeling distant, a new phase begins. Comparison. She starts meeting new people, engaging in conversations, trying to move forward, but something inside her keeps measuring every new interaction against the one she lost. It's not intentional, it's almost instinctive. Every man she meets is compared to the one who once held her heart. The way they talk, the tone of their voice, how they treat her, none of it feels the same. There's a depth missing, a quiet strength that only he had. At first, she tries to convince herself that everyone is different, that she should give others a fair chance. But no matter how much she tries, nothing feels as genuine. The new connections lack the emotional maturity, the stability, and the calm reassurance that he naturally carried. She begins to realize that the comfort he gave wasn't just because of love, it was because of the man he was, secure, grounded, and patient. He didn't compete, didn't play games, didn't make her question her worth. He was simply consistent, and that kind of consistency can't be imitated. The more she compares, the deeper her regret grows. It's no longer about losing him, it's about losing herself in moments when she chose pride over love. She recalls the times she tested his patience, the arguments she escalated, and the affection she withheld, believing he would always stay. But now, faced with men who don't even try to understand her, she realizes how rare it was to have someone who actually did. That understanding becomes a wound that time struggles to heal. Regret isn't loud, it's silent. It creeps in during moments of solitude when she looks at her phone and wishes she could message him, knowing she shouldn't. It surfaces when she sees couples laughing together, when she hears words he once said that she didn't take seriously. She starts to remember his advice, the way he cared about her growth, the way he supported her dreams, and how he believed in her even when she doubted herself. Every memory now feels like a mirror reflecting what she didn't value enough. In her attempt to replace what she lost, she learns the painful truth. Some people are not replaceable. You can find better-looking faces, wealthier men, or more exciting company, but genuine emotional connection is something that happens once in a rare while, and when it does, it changes you forever. Now she understands that he wasn't trying to control her. He was trying to protect her. He wasn't trying to argue. He was trying to communicate. He wasn't trying to win. He was trying to understand. Regret becomes her silent teacher. It humbles her, softens her, and reminds her that love isn't about power. It's about appreciation. She realizes that when she had something real, she was too focused on her ego to see it. Now, as she compares every man to him, she's not searching for him in others. She's searching for the version of herself who once had him and didn't know his worth. When a woman loses a good man, something profound happens inside her. It's as if life places a mirror before her soul. The reflection staring back isn't just about him, it's about her. It shows her everything she avoided, everything she denied, and everything she refused to heal. His absence doesn't only leave emptiness, it exposes the parts of herself she never wanted to face. The anger, the pride, the emotional immaturity, all of it comes to the surface when the calm of his presence is no longer there to stabilize her. This emotional mirror is cruelly honest. It doesn't lie and it doesn't flatter. It shows her how she reacted when love was patient with her, how she took kindness as weakness, and how she misread peace as boredom. It forces her to see the way she sabotaged something steady because she was used to chaos. For so long, she believed love was supposed to be intense, unpredictable, and dramatic. But now she realizes that real love, the kind he gave, was never about excitement. It was about consistency, safety, and peace. As she looks into this emotional mirror, she begins to understand her own patterns. She starts connecting dots she once ignored, how her insecurities made her push him away, how her fear of vulnerability made her defensive, and how her unhealed wounds made her question his intentions. She realizes that the love he gave her wasn't too much. It was exactly what she needed, but she wasn't ready to receive it. And this realization doesn't just sting, it humbles her. The mirror shows her how he handled her storms with calmness, how he stayed when others would have walked away, and how he tried to guide her without forcing her to change. She remembers the moments he looked at her not with judgment, but with quiet understanding, silently hoping she would see herself the way he saw her. Now, in his absence, that hope echoes inside her. She begins to understand that his patience wasn't weakness. It was love in its purest form. The hardest part of this reflection is recognizing that she didn't lose him because he stopped loving her. She lost him because she wasn't emotionally ready for the kind of love he offered. The mirror shows her that sometimes it's not the other person who's unworthy. It's our own inability to meet love with the same depth it's given. It's a sobering truth that forces growth, but it also leaves scars. Slowly, she learns to sit with that reflection instead of avoiding it. She starts to heal, not by trying to replace him, but by understanding what his presence tried to teach her. She realizes that the love he gave wasn't meant to be wasted. It was meant to awaken her. And though she may never get him back, she finally sees herself with clarity, both her flaws and her potential. That emotional mirror becomes her turning point, reminding her that losing a good man wasn't just punishment. It was the beginning of her self-awareness. The silent punishment begins long after the words have stopped, after the arguments have faded, and after she's convinced herself that she's over him. It's not a punishment he gives her. It's one life gives quietly without warning. It doesn't arrive through anger or revenge. It comes through stillness, through the quiet absence of what once was. It's waking up and realizing there's no message waiting, no voice checking in, no presence that grounds her. It's the slow, cold realization that the man who once made her feel secure has chosen peace over proving his worth to her. In the beginning, she mistakes the silence for freedom. There's no more explaining, no more accountability, no more compromise. But slowly, the silence becomes deafening. It starts echoing the truth she tried to avoid, that she wasn't pushed away, she was let go. The difference cuts deep. Being pushed away comes with emotion, but being let go comes with exhaustion. He didn't stop caring. He simply stopped trying. And that's when the punishment begins, not through words, but through absence. The quiet hits her hardest at night when everything slows down. She finds herself scrolling through old conversations, remembering how his consistency once annoyed her because it was predictable. Now that same predictability feels like peace she would give anything to have again. The silence doesn't mock her, it teaches her. It teaches her what she once called clingy was care, What she labeled boring was loyalty, and what she mistook for weakness was love in its purest, most disciplined form. The punishment is subtle but relentless. It shows up when she meets someone new and feels nothing, when she tries to recreate the same comfort but ends up realizing that connection cannot be manufactured. It's when she laughs at a joke but remembers how he used to make her laugh without even trying. Every attempt to move forward becomes a reminder of how effortless everything felt with him. That's the kind of pain silence delivers. It doesn't scream. It whispers truth until she can't ignore it anymore. What hurts the most is that he never tried to hurt her. He didn't badmouth her, didn't seek revenge, didn't try to make her jealous. He simply disappeared with grace, leaving her to sit with her thoughts. That quiet dignity becomes her mirror and her punishment at once, because now she realizes how rare it is to be loved by a man who knows his worth, but still chose to love her fully. And when he walks away without bitterness, it leaves an even deeper scar, because his silence is louder than any words he could have spoken. This is the kind of pain that matures her. The silence that once felt unbearable becomes the very force that humbles her. It forces her to acknowledge how she mistook devotion for dependency and presence for predictability. The silent punishment isn't vengeance. It's the echo of lost peace, reminding her that sometimes the loudest lessons come from those who choose not to speak at all. Pain has a way of shaping us that comfort never can. When a woman loses a good man, the void he leaves behind is heavy, but within that emptiness lies an opportunity for growth. At first, the loss feels unbearable, as if the world has shifted and nothing familiar remains. The moments once shared replay in her mind, haunting her with their quiet perfection. But as the initial shock fades, the weight of absence begins to teach her lessons she never wanted to learn, yet needed more than anything. Growth through pain is never immediate. It is slow, subtle, and often uncomfortable. She begins to reflect on the ways she failed to appreciate what she had. She remembers the times she let pride dictate her words, the moments she withheld affection out of fear, and the choices she made when patience and understanding could have preserved the bond. Each memory feels like a sting, but with each sting comes clarity. Pain forces her to confront her own imperfections, the ones she ignored while the man she loved gave everything without hesitation. As she sits with her grief, she begins to notice patterns in her behavior. She understands that the good man she lost wasn't just a reflection of what she wanted. He was a mirror to her own emotional maturity. He was consistent, patient, and loyal, and she now sees how her actions or inactions pushed him away. This realization is humbling, but it is also powerful. Pain has a way of stripping away illusions, showing her who she truly is and who she could become if she learned from her mistakes. In this process, she starts to build a deeper self-awareness. She recognizes her emotional triggers, her insecurities, and the ways in which she sabotages her own happiness. The absence of his presence makes her face the truth. Love is not just about receiving. It is about giving, about patience, understanding, and sacrifice. She learns that real love is a partnership, not a transaction, and that failing to honor it comes at a cost. Each pang of longing becomes a lesson in empathy, responsibility, and self-reflection. Growth through pain also teaches her resilience. She discovers that she is stronger than she thought, that heartbreak does not destroy, it refines. She learns to navigate solitude without desperation, to seek fulfillment within herself rather than relying solely on another. The loss, which once seemed unbearable, becomes a catalyst for inner strength. She begins to understand the depth of love she once had, not with bitterness, but with reverence for the lessons it left behind. This pain transforms her perspective on life and love. She realizes that while she cannot undo the past, she can carry its wisdom forward. The good man she lost shaped her in ways she could not see while with him, and through his absence, she discovers her capacity to grow, to love more consciously, and to value what is truly meaningful. Pain, once feared, becomes the teacher she never expected but desperately needed. It molds her into a version of herself capable of understanding, appreciating, and sustaining the kind of love she once lost. When a woman loses a good man, there is an unspoken truth that lingers long after the heartbreak fades. It is a truth she may not fully understand at first, buried beneath denial, regret, and fleeting distractions. It whispers in quiet moments, in the stillness of her thoughts, and in the spaces where his presence used to exist. The unspoken truth is not about him, it is about her and the part of herself that she lost when she failed to recognize his value. This truth reveals itself slowly. She begins to notice the subtle ways he shaped her life while he was there. His loyalty, patience, and consistent love were never ordinary. They were rare gifts, the kind of love that most people spend a lifetime searching for but rarely find. At the time, she may have overlooked it, distracted by trivial grievances, pride, or the assumption that love should always be dramatic. Now, in his absence, she understands that what she lost was not just a man, it was a chance at a connection built on authenticity, stability, and care. The unspoken truth also shows her the depth of her own actions. She recognizes the ways she resisted vulnerability, tested his patience, or took his presence for granted. She realizes that his love was never conditional on her perfection. It was steadfast and unwavering, and yet her inability to fully receive it created a space that could not be sustained. He did not leave because he stopped loving. He left because he finally understood that love cannot thrive where it is undervalued. As this truth settles, it brings both clarity and humility. She begins to see the patterns she repeated in relationships, the mistakes she ignored, and the lessons she postponed learning. It forces her to confront her ego, her insecurities, and the emotional blind spots that once seemed insignificant. The unspoken truth is harsh because it does not absolve her, but it is also liberating because it provides insight. It teaches her that true growth comes not from blaming others, but from taking responsibility for what she allowed herself to miss. There is also a painful awareness that follows, the realization that genuine love, once lost, is rarely replaced. She may meet others, but the depth, patience, and consistency he offered cannot simply be recreated. That awareness is sobering, yet it is transformative. She begins to appreciate what it means to truly love and be loved, not with intensity alone, but with care, respect, and quiet commitment. The unspoken truth is a mirror reflecting what she must carry forward. Losing him is not just a lesson in loss. It is a revelation about the kind of person she aspires to be and the kind of love she hopes to recognize in the future. She learns that good men are rare, that true love is a gift, and that the heart must be open and conscious to embrace it fully. This truth, though silent, becomes her guide. It teaches her that while she may never reclaim what was lost, she can transform the experience into wisdom, self-awareness, and the capacity to honor love in ways she once overlooked. In the end, losing a good man is more than heartbreak. It is a profound mirror reflecting both love and loss, presence and absence, and the truths we often avoid within ourselves. It teaches a woman about the rare value of loyalty, patience, and genuine care. It exposes her own patterns, her pride, her fears, and the ways she unintentionally pushed away something precious. Through denial, realization, flashbacks, comparison, and silent punishment, she is forced to confront herself and her choices. And while the pain is undeniable, it becomes the catalyst for growth, self-awareness, and emotional maturity. The unspoken truth lingers. What was lost cannot always be regained, but the lessons it leaves behind can shape her into someone who recognizes, honors, and cherishes love more deeply in the future. In losing him, she discovers not only what she lost, but also who she has the potential to become.